Everyone, welcome to the first ever episode 3 and Out. I am your host, Ryan Kieran. Joining me on the inaugural episode are Keagan, Stiefel, and Brian Phillips, all of Pat's Pulpit. Guys, first of all, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate you guys being my first guests.
Good evening.
I'm very excited for this. Been waiting for months.
I'm extremely excited about this too. This is something that, with these two guys helping me workshop, I've spent a lot of the off season trying to come up with a show that's going to be fun. It's going to be different. It's going to be interactive. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Here's how it's going to work tonight. There's going to be 3 downs, and it's 3 and out. First down, we're going to recap preseason, and we're going to preview week 1, Miami versus New England. This is going to be the same format every single week. Except obviously next week we'll be recapping week 1 and previewing week 2. Then we get to second down. We're going to get into segments. The first segment will kind of transition us from 1 to 2, where we'll break down the game a little bit more in depth. First down is going to be kind of a rapid fire, get up to date in case you missed anything type thing. We'll go through segments, and then third down is going to be the big moment. This is the trivia competition. It's the Pick 6 trivia show. Keagan will be facing off against Brian. It'll be 6 rounds going back and forth. Highest score wins. We will be that's the crux of the show. We'll be tracking standings throughout the year. Every single guest who comes on will be in here. We'll track standings. I'm thinking around playoff time toward the end of the season, we'll have a little tournament. Probably Keagan, Brian, Spags, and Pat.
Championship.
And we'll crown a trivia champion of Pat's Pulpit by the end of the year. So it should be fun. We should be coming up with new ideas consistently. The segments aren't going to be the same every single week. So if you guys have ideas of what you want to see, let us know. Let me know. Yes, and during trivia, they will be looking at the private chat that StreamYard offers. So there will be no cheating ensued. So in the comments, feel free to be interacting, guessing along the way as you go. As long as these guys aren't cheating, they're not going to see it.
We've already got people standing for Keagan in the chat.
We sure do.
Which, I mean,
that's my guy Cody. Stands for me during all of our live streams. It's my boy. I got one fan, and he rides with me till the end.
To be fair, I also am standing for Keagan in the chat.
That's right.
But hey, what are we gonna do?
The private chat's just been Brian being like, "Go Keagan."
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So,
yes.
Brian's already ruining the integrity. He's saying he's gonna throw just so that Keagan can win.
I will be competing hard here, but I see it going one of 2 ways. I see a landslide in either direction. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get some little drama going.
I will say these two were gracious enough to also be my test runners when I was trying to get the show's format nailed down, and they were neck and neck in the fake trivia that we ran through that. So should be a fun one. Let's get into it.
I did come out on top, just so everybody knows.
We did come out on top. So let's get into it. The goal of the show is going to be about an hour and a half max. It should be pretty tight, so hang out with us and feel free to interact. So let's get into first down, recap. So obviously there's been no games yet. We're just entering the preseason. We're finishing up the preseason. Biggest news, obviously, Mac Jones is the starter. If you've missed that, you aren't going to be watching this show. We really don't need to talk about this. Everyone, if you're seeking out thoughts on it, you found those thoughts already. We don't need to touch on it. Are we more excited for Mac, or are we a little bit more nervous? Five-word answer.
I am a little bit nervous.
Cautiously optimistic.
I'd ride along the cautiously optimistic as well. Other recap news, Damien Harris ended up being the running back 1. Sony Michel was traded to the Rams. Ramondre Stevenson had a strong preseason performance after kind of looking shaky in training camp, but it's going to be the Damien Harris show. You'd expect with the rookie quarterback, the offensive line that they've built, it's probably going to be another run-heavy attack this year. So you should be looking at Damien Harris kind of being an offensive horse for this team. And then the third point that we want to talk about is the defense. The defense is exciting again. Last year, the defense was the most infuriating part for me of an aggravating season. The offense was disappointing, but the defense was it was brutal. It's like the Red Sox defense right now. If you guys have been watching the Red Sox, it's brutal. It's painful and it's embarrassing. And Bill Belichick went out and made sure that's never going to happen again with all the additions he had. Dante Hightower's back. It should be a significantly better defense this year. Guys, what is, out of those 3, what are you most looking forward to watching this year?
I mean, I'll start. I'll go with the defense just because for me, there's nothing worse in football than watching a run defense that can't stop the run. Love it. That was a good pun. There's nothing worse than watching a defense that can't stop the run because it's just like death by a million paper cuts, 4 yards here, 5 yards here, 7 yards here. It's brutal to watch. It really is. So watching them go out and replace guys like Terez Hall and Tashawn Bauer and Akeem Spence, like they made major upgrades at all of those spots from last season. And even guys who, played pretty well and have been here for a while, like John Simon, Shalik Calhoun, like you're upgrading all of these spots. I don't think there's a weak point on the defense, and they've got depth and versatility everywhere. So I think it's going to be fun, not just seeing them improve on last year, but also kind of finding out some new stuff, some new wrinkles. I'm sure that they'll bring this year.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, it would be easy to go the Mac Jones route, but I'm really excited to see how this running back crew gets distributed, because we like to think, it's going to be the Damien Harris show, but it's never a one guy show. Realistically, really since LG had like 1,100 yards and 18 touchdowns, and what was it, 2017 or 2018? I have a sneaking little suspicion. I call it maybe a little bias. What if we get a little J.J. Taylor, Deion Lewis roll going? Who knows? It's on the table. We know that they like to utilize that matchup of when you have a guy like a Deion Lewis type, which we always make that comparison with J.J. Taylor.
Right.
Getting him moved around different formations, getting him in the slot, getting him touches, and figuring out how to get him the football in space, because we know how electric he is. I would just lose my mind if there was a JJ Taylor gadget roll this year. So hold that hope for that. But I'm really interested to see how the touches are going to be distributed, because I don't think it's going to be as cut and dry as we all thought.
Yeah, and
I think Ivan does call him Little Dion. You're right. Yeah.
I'll take that third one then, and I'll talk about Mac, and more specifically Mac, but the weapons and how Mac is going to lean on those weapons, specifically at the tight end position, because Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, obviously we've talked about, you got the Gronk Hernandez roles brought back into the offense. I'm curious which is going to be leaned on a little bit more, or if it's truly going to be a week-by-week matchup thing, because if this offense is going as you hope it will, one of those two is going to be your top option in the receiving game, right? The wide receivers are going to be the secondary playmakers. Jacoby Myers, as my camera freezes off to a great start. Jacoby Myers is going to be the second target, and then the tight end or both tight ends are going to be the ones above him. So I'm curious to see if one of those guys takes on that consistent, dominant role, or if it goes back and forth.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week with Pat Lane on the Pat Station podcast with Keagan and Pat talking about there are definitely two sides to this, right? It could be Henry. We were talking to a gentleman last week saying that he likes Hunter Henry because Jonnu Smith is too good of a football player. He's too good of a run blocker. They'll bring him in, use him more in those protection looks, like split zone, play action protections and things like that. And then so he expects Hunter Henry to get out there. But then also we're talking about the guy who was the number one yak tight end in the league last year, right? The guy that you just want to get the football running downhill in the flat or up the seam. So it's going to be interesting to see how they distribute those touches too.
Absolutely. All right, let's transition. We've talked about the preseason for, we've been talking about this stuff for months now. Let's talk about the actual real life regular season football game that's going to be happening in just a few days. Coming to Miami versus New England. Obviously, Miami is 0-0, New England 0-0. Miami was 10-6 in 2020. They've added Adam Butler, Jason McCourty, former Patriots friends, Will Fuller, who was suspended for this game, Justin Coleman, John Jenkins, Jalen Waddle in the draft, Jalen Phillips in the draft, Liam Eichenberg in the draft, and Javon Holland in the draft. They lost Kyle Van Noy and Devon Godshaw and Ted Karras, all of whom are now current Patriots friends. Ryan Fitzpatrick to the Washington football team, Shaq Lawson to the Texans and then traded to the Jets, and then Matt Hawk, their punter, who I believe is now on the Bills. The big news from the Dolphins camp now is that Tua's the guy. Last year they kind of used him a little bit weirdly. It was kind of the first hiccup that I really saw in the Brian Flores era. Obviously they were bad, but it looked like they had a plan. Tua at times last year, it seemed like they didn't have a plan for him. They were in the middle of a playoff run, and they would just throw him in and say, hey, go save this game for us because Ryan doesn't have it today. This year it's clearly him, and you're looking for him to kind of take that step because he really didn't look good last year. He was, like I said, he was used weirdly, and he was kind of thrown in and out, and he was behind a horrendous offensive line and a banged-up receiving core. So it's going to be interesting. Played 2 preseason games this year. He went 24-34 for 282 yards, touchdown, and only 1 sack taken, and he had a 93.0 passer rating. So, pretty good, not, going out there tearing the cover off the ball, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Do you guys have any strong thoughts on what Tua might do this year?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair for anybody to have a real opinion on him yet, just because there's been no real opportunity to form an opinion at the NFL level for me anyways. So it's a lot more kind of wait and see with him. Are they going to be able to build an offense around him and play to his strengths and kind of hide his weaknesses? I don't know. Specifically with that coaching staff, they've had 5 or 6 offensive coordinators in the past 5 years. Like, they're going to have to figure something out on the offensive side of the ball. So for him personally, it's going to be a lot more of what the team's doing around him than what he's doing himself.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't want to jump to conclusions too early on a guy, but there's arm strength issues there. There just is, and anytime that's there, I'm going to be concerned. Now he's got the feet and he's got the playmaking ability to overcome a little bit of that, and he can be. We've seen how efficient and clean he can be when he is comfortable in an offense, which we've yet to see him be comfortable in his role yet in the NFL and adjust to NFL speed. But he's not going to bring the house down with the arm talent. And there are so many guys around the NFL right now that just can make every throw at an elite level. It's just if I had to make a call either way, if I think that Tua is going to work out long term in Miami, I would say no, just based on those traits. But again, we don't have to make that call now. But hey, might as well.
And he'll certainly
just write him off.
He'll certainly have the weapons. Preston Williams flashed in his first few years as potentially being a legitimate playmaker down the line, and he's their 4th wide receiver at this point. They got Devontae Parker still, who really came into his own the past couple of years, dealt with injuries last year. They got Jalen Waddle, 6th overall pick. Will Fuller will be back after this week. Mike Gesicki's still there for this year, at least at tight end. So, he'll have the weapons. He won't have the offensive line. Didn't really improve. Running back's still a bit of a question mark. You hope Myles Gaskin can stay healthy and kind of cement himself for at least a year or two. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Let's wrap up.
I'm so pumped about Jalen Waddle. I mean, I think he was the 3rd best player in that draft, overall, and they're already talking about how good he looks and a transcendent a guy that can really elevate your offense. So maybe that helps Tua. But I mean, I look at him and I see Tyreek Hill. I see ridiculous, absurd, have to constantly keep the lid on this guy all game type of speed.
All right, let's finish up first down here and transition into second down. We'll start off the segments. Our first segment is going to be Who Am I? So this will kind of wrap up our preview for this week. I'm going to give you a description of someone, throw it up on the screen so you guys can guess along. You're going to tell me who you think it is, and then we'll talk about why they may or may not have a key factor to play in this game. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
There are no points on the line, correct?
There are no points on the line. This is trivia light, but this isn't actual trivia. This is
whose line is it anyway?
Yeah.
The points don't matter.
Yeah. Okay. I've compiled 146 solo tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 16 QB hits, and 8.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons, earning myself an extension from Miami this offseason. Who am I?
Is that Andrew Van Ginkel?
No.
Brian?
That's a Landon Roberts ?
I'll give the chat a minute to come in here.
I'm going to be honest, I have no idea.
Oh, man. That's a Landon Roberts.
And chat,
don't cheat. It can't be a Landon Roberts.
There's no prizes for getting it right in the
8.5 sacks.
No,
I'm way off.
I think we got it. It's Ryan Spagnoli.
Yes, it is Spags.
Shout out
stud athlete of Pat's pulpit.
Shout out to Tonka737. That is Jerome Baker.
Oh, damn.
I was closer than.
It's an Ohio State guy.
Yeah. So Jerome Baker in his third.
Based off what? Jerome Baker plays outside like Van Gink. I don't know about a Landon Roberts with 8.5 sacks.
Jerome Baker.
We're moving on.
Only 25. He's played inside and outside for the Dolphins. If you look at that, let me pull up the depth chart again. But if
I'm getting roasted.
Look at their linebacker core, it's bad. It's not good outside of Jerome Baker, who is good. So you look at what the Patriots have done. First of all, the offensive line that they already have and strengthened. The 2 tight ends, Damien Harris, the rookie quarterback. They're going to lean on the run game. He's going to have to do a lot at that second level. So you look at it, and they have Jerome Baker, Andrew Van Ginkel, like Keagan said, and
he's good.
It's a fake
Sam Iguavone. I don't know how to pronounce that. Landon Roberts as a backup. Duke Riley as a backup. Jalen Phillips is technically an outside linebacker. He's more of a pass rusher, hand in the dirt type kind of guy, obviously. Looking at him to make plays on the second level. Baker.
I think we'll see him more of an overhang, right? We'll see him a little bit more of a Sam.
So I think Baker's going to be really key here because if you're able to either isolate him and keep him out of plays, or you're able to send 2 on him, just completely take him out, the way that Belichick likes to completely take out the opposing offense's best receiver usually. If you're able to do that with Jerome Baker, there's really not much at that second level in way of things you need to fear, both in the run and the pass game. If they're not going to have their success, he's going to need to be a monster all over the field.
Yeah, I think, he played well enough to, like you said, he got the extension, but also he made Kyle Van Noy expendable for them.
Yep.
That big contract that they could get rid of and they could kind of replace him with an in-house guy. So if he's going to take over the role that they thought Van Noy was going to be able to play last year, who, he played fine, but he wasn't the Kyle Van Noy of New England. I think it'll be interesting to see how he's deployed because it maybe they can try something completely new, like who knows. But if they do try him in that Van Noy role where he's really kind of the leader of the second unit from the outside, it could be interesting.
And then just to comment on the sleeping on J-Mac, obviously a little bit of a joke in here, but their starting safeties are Jason McCourty and Eric Rowe. Rookie Javon Hollins behind them. Clayton Fajedalem is behind there too.
It's a special teams guy.
Yeah,
he's Cody
right.
Davis.
He's right. So they really that whole second level up the middle isn't anyone that you fear terribly in the run game. And Jason McCourty is maybe the only one that you need to give significant respect to outside of Jerome Baker in terms of coverage. So Baker's going to need to be all over the field. Let's move on to the second one here. While I didn't stuff the stat sheet in my rookie season, I play as a space eater on Miami defensive line, earned me a starting job for 2021. Who am I?
Is that Raekwon Davis?
Brian?
Nope, that is. I don't know his first name. Is that Seiler?
It is Raekwon Davis. God, man. So Raekwon Davis.
I'm very glad there are no points on the table right now.
Raekwon Davis, another Ohio State guy. Keagan,
yep.
Steve mentioned. Or no, sorry.
Well,
sorry.
Alabama.
Yeah, he was Alabama.
Bama.
I'm sorry. Was a rookie last year, second round pick. Played all 16 games, 12 games started. No sacks, but he had 20 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit, and a 7 AV as in his rookie season. I think he earned second team all rookie from some of those down ballot writing awards that no one cares about. He had a strong season. You look at their defensive line, going back to their depth chart, this is really the only area on the defense that can be considered a significant strength. Between Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkins, they have half of the defensive line locked down pretty well from a run standpoint.
They brought Emmanuel Ogbah in too, right?
Yep, they have Emmanuel Ogbah and then Jalen Phillips in terms of pass rushers along the line too. So it's starter heavy, and then you have Adam Butler rotating in behind John Jenkins. So not super starter heavy, but the run game is going to be key to watch here between Davis and Christian Wilkins on that side of the ball. You look to probably see them running off right tackle a lot more. Davis typically plays nose tackle, Wilkins over on the left side. But if Davis can kind of we've seen David Andrews historically have a little bit of trouble with strength, massive guys, reasonable. He's a bit of a smaller guy himself. So I think that'll be a key to watch here.
Christian Wilkins was really good in the second game against them last year. He was manhandling doubles and splitting doubles pretty easily, and they were having to go to counter G stuff to get him on the move. So that'll be interesting to watch. But all in all, I don't think they're gonna have a problem with this front seven. This offensive line should eat. I mean, quote unquote, should eat again against these guys, and it's a familiar matchup for most of them.
Right. And we talk about Davis just real quick. We talked about Davis being a run stuffer. Don't sleep on him being a guy who can pass rush up the middle on on David Andrews. Just the length alone, like he's 6'8", I believe, or 6'7".
Yeah, he's 6'7", 6'8". Yeah,
Raekwon Davis and David Andrews is maybe 6'2" tops. So having a guy with those long arms who can kind of get into his body a little bit, and a non-mobile quarterback who's in a knee brace, who is a rookie, who might not have the greatest pocket presence, I wouldn't be surprised to see him create some problems up the middle.
And like you said, Brian, with regards to not having a problem on the offensive line or defensive line, obviously it's a position that can be more of a, you're only as good as your weakest player there. So you would expect them to more just run away from Davis and Wilkins as much as possible. But if they're able to kind of cause problems on the interior, there's not a whole lot. I mean, the secret to beating Tom Brady was pressuring him from the inside, right? Because that's the secret to giving any offense problems. So you see just a monster nose tackle coming off a strong rookie season. You see that kind of classic 5-tech Christian Wilkins, who's arguably becoming one of the leaders of their defense. I was kind of surprised he didn't end up getting a captain nod this year. He's already, I believe, Wilkins is already the most senior player on that defensive line in terms of time in Miami, and he's entering year 3.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was drafted 2 months ago.
Yeah.
How does he have 3 years in the league already?
Yeah.
This is getting out of hand.
So
just real quick, shout out to Framingham, Christian Wilkins, like the only player born in Massachusetts in the NFL right now. Framingham.
Absolutely.
Go Christian Wilkins!
All right, last one. Half of my 16 career, I hope you guys can get this one. Half of my 16 career touchdowns came last season, leading New England to give me a bag in free agency.
Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, I forgot that we were doing Patriots players as well.
This
they could be from either team. Nelson Aguilar.
Disappointing, you guys. That is Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith.
I'm pretty sure Nelson Aguilar had like 11 touchdowns.
Yeah. Also, side note, look at those thighs.
Yeah.
I'll say this: I was down at camp a couple days this year. Jonnu Smith's the biggest person alive. Like Cam Newton gave people that thing last year. This year it was Jonnu Smith, biggest person on the field. He stood next to Trent Brown, and I think they were the same size.
You put him in like that category of like Cam, Gronk, like Julius Peppers, like these guys, like oh my god, size.
Yeah, and we are obviously I already talked about him a little bit in the preview section, so we don't need to touch on him too much. But you pair what we talked about with Jerome Baker and kind of that weakness up the middle, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. In the passing game, I would expect them to, one of the two, if not both of them, to be the ones kind of having the big day here. And then you look at them in terms of the pass blocking game, run blocking game as well. And I think they kind of hold the key to this game offensively for the Patriots, which is probably going to be true a lot of the games this year.
Right. I'm excited to see either one of those tight ends matched up on an Eric Rowe type. So, like that's a matchup you want. That's what, and they've exploited Eric Rowe in the past quite a bit. So.
Also allowed him to get exploited to lose the Super Bowl, but that is neither here nor there.
We didn't have to go there, but we did.
Like Mike said, Keagan took the bait. Brian took the bait too. Nelson Aguilar was the one that I was trying to trick people with. If
I went after Keegan's bait.
That's fair. All right, that's going to do. Or no, I'm sorry. That's not going to do it for second down. That's going to do it for the segment. And now we are going to get into award predictions for this year. So I've already told you guys.
Yes. This
is just going to be rapid fire.
Pumped about this.
Obviously, we're taking kind of. No one knows, right? So we're going to be giving no explanations to these. These are just what you think is going to happen at each of the words that you can see scrolling across the screen. So I'm going to go Keagan, then Brian, then me, and we'll start with defensive rookie of the year. So say your player, 1 sentence max.
Micah Parsons, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's going to play probably every snap that they have on defense.
Damien Davis, inside linebacker. The Washington football team, tackles galore in the Darius Leonard mold. That's how you win this award. Opportunity.
I went J.C. Horn, best defensive player in the draft. First of all, second of all, cool as hell.
It's a hoss.
And third of all, weak linebacker edge class. You don't typically see cornerbacks winning awards in general unless it's a weaker class and someone doing something really special. I think J.C. Horn has that name. Okay, offensive rookie of the year, Keagan.
I've got Justin Fields. I think he's the kind of player who comes in and puts on a show for like 10, 11 weeks.
Najee Harris. He's going to be a fantasy darling for everybody this year. I'm heavily invested. And again, volume and opportunity. He's going to be there all year, getting a ton of touches, a ton of reps. I went the running back route. Get a little crazy.
Trevor Lawrence. It's goddamn Trevor Lawrence.
Makes sense.
Patriots Defensive Player of the Year. Keagan.
Josh Uche. I think the potential is there for double-digit sacks. I don't know if anybody will ever do that in New England, but he's pretty damn close.
It won't happen, but he should be the Defensive Player of the Year for the Patriots every year, and it's Devin McCourty.
Matt Judon.
Yeah, I like it.
It's just it's a glove. O.J. Simpson's glove didn't fit. This glove fits. O.J. would be in jail if Matt Judon with his glove. Patriots Offensive Player of the Year. Keagan.
Jacoby Myers. I think he's actually going to score a touchdown this year.
Bold.
I had a backup in case Jacoby was already taken. He is already taken, and so I'm going to go Jonnu Smith.
Okay. To be clear, it's not a draft. You could take him too, but
we have we're amping the rivalry up here as we move through the episode.
Very fair. Damien Harris. I don't think that they're going to pass enough. I think that the run game is going to be the driving force behind wins this season. So Damien Harris. Defensive Player of the Year, league wide. Keagan.
I've got TJ Watt. I think there's a little bit of Aaron Donald fatigue, even though he should win it every year. So they're going to give it to somebody different, TJ Watt.
Off to a rough start with him potentially not even playing. Though he did practice today.
He practiced today.
Yeah. Chase Young is going to, he's going to kill everybody he faces this year, and it's Chase Young.
You guys ready?
Yes, I'm ready for this.
My mic's over here, so I'm leaning this way. Matt Judon.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
Glove.
That's awesome.
On the hand. He's going to have 3 interceptions.
Yes.
He's going to have 4 forced fumbles. He's going to have 11 sacks. He's going to make a big play every single game. The narrative's going to get going. The Patriots are going to go like 11
here's my problem. That's Jamie Collins. That was the Jamie Collins from and then he fizzled a little bit, but Jamie Collins was ridiculous.
Collins, it was Jamie Collins Defensive Player of the Year train for the first half of that season.
Like 2 months, yeah.
And this is going to be
it was
Jamie
us
Collins
three in the engine room, just shoveling the coal in.
Yeah. So Matt Judon, Defensive Player of the Year, lock it in. MVP, Keagan.
I've been saying it for a few months now. It's Matthew Stafford. If he can't win it with this group and this team, Matt Stafford.
Such a trash pick. Aaron Rodgers back-to-back. He turned off his media voice this week. I don't know if you guys saw the Justice Mosqueda tweet. He didn't use his media voice in a Pat McAfee interview, which shows that it's going to be his league again this year.
Dak Prescott. Dak was well on his way to earning it last year before he got hurt. Their offense is only going to get better with second-year CeeDee Lamb. Michael Gallup hopefully having a bounce-back season.
It's not a setback. It's not a setback. Dak Prescott. I like it.
Correct. Super Bowl matchup and winner. Keagan.
I went off the wall with this one. I've got the MVP Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams beating the Cleveland Browns in the Super Bowl.
Ooh, okay.
Gross. I forgot to do this. So this is off the cuff. Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl MVP, Packers defeating Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
in the Super Bowl.
The Packers defeating the Bucs in the Super Bowl.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Sticking with it.
Yeah, two NFC teams. Okay.
Correct.
All right. I've got the Chiefs beating the Cowboys. As my camera freezes again, I spent 2 days trying to figure out why this camera freezes, and it didn't freeze once. And now we are on number 2 of the first half hour of the show. So we love that. That'll be fun to see.
The heat of my Super Bowl take.
Yeah, melted it.
I'm disappointed in you taking the Dallas Cowboys to even make the playoffs.
I don't even. Well, okay. So first of all, I'm gonna give this a minute while my camera reboots. The NFC East is trash. They are walking into that division as long as no one significant dies, which it's football, so who knows? But that's true for any team. The Bucs are the obvious pick. Boring. Didn't want to do that. The Packers low key just are never going to win ever again for the rest of their lives. And I don't like any other team in the NFC this year more than I like the Rams or the Cowboys. Excuse me.
The Rams. Correct.
Rams are going to be my backup pick if it makes you feel better.
I'm just disappointed in myself in general for having 2 NFC teams in the Super Bowl. So, what are you going to do?
Right.
Win some, you lose some. Saving it for third down.
And then, to be clear, I can't remember if I said it or not. The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. They had one weakness last year, and they went out and took $0 and managed to get 5 new very good offensive linemen.
We
I'll
get,
say
we
this.
get it.
They've played a lot of football. You know that old cliche. They've played a lot of football. They're going to be tired. They're going to get injured.
It's tough playing that first place schedule every year.
Has the league figured out Patrick Mahomes? People are saying it. It's been said.
I've figured out Patrick Mahomes personally, and I'm going to help every team.
Sammy Watkins ain't walking through that door anymore, guys.
But for real, if there is a downfall to the Chiefs, it's going to be that receiving core outside Tyreek Hill.
It's going to be that pass rush, man. It's going to be that edge group.
Kelsey Hill. I was just going to say dark blue gold. Kelsey Hill goes down, they might be in a little bit of trouble. But then Patrick Mahomes is just going to turn into like Josh Allen last year in the playoff run, where he just was their running back, and he's just going to run for 200 yards a game, and it won't matter because it's Patrick Mahomes. All right, let's get to the final segment. I'm really excited about this one. We are going to do a pick'em. So for those of you who know, hang on, that was supposed to be a score. Just a second there. Those of you who played NFL Street growing up, which was neither of these two somehow.
Too old.
We're going to be picking an NFL Street roster from the Patriots and the Dolphins' current rosters. So if you don't know NFL Street, 7 players, they play both sides of the ball. You can play with what positions they play on both sides, but we're going to pair them for simplicity. So you're going to pick a QB/safety, a wide receiver/CB, another wide receiver/cornerback, a running back/linebacker, and then 3 offensive linemen/defensive linemen. So how do you guys want to do this? Do you want to go one pick at a time, or do you just want to go team? I
would like to unveil my entire team right off.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So again, we'll go Keagan, Brian, and then we'll finish up with me. So Keagan,
we can go Keagan. Sure. Let's go Keagan.
We got to follow the order, Brian. We got to follow clockwise here.
Fine.
I'll be quick, too, because I didn't quite understand it for a while. I've got it down, but I don't know how great this team is. So quarterback/safety, I've got Tua. I can't imagine Mac Jones doing anything defensively. I got 2 wide receivers/cornerbacks. One of them is going to be Jacoby Myers. The other one is going to be Xavier Howard of the Dolphins. 3 offensive/defensive linemen. I've got Raekwon Davis, who's 6'7", 330, Trent Brown, who's 6'8", 360, and Mike Onwenu, who's 6'3", 375. Mm-hmm. And then my linebacker/running back, I've got Ramondre Stevenson. The kid's a hoss, and he's a really good running back.
Only rule that I forgot to mention, which Keagan followed here, we made a rule you have to pick at least 2 players from each team. So you're not going to have 7 Patriots here. All right. I like the team.
Okay.
Brian, go ahead.
All right. QB/safety, Jacoby Myers. Let's go, baby.
Love it. Similar ideas. I liked it.
Got to. I'm already bringing home that championship. Running back, linebacker, Mr. Josh Uche. Give me that freak on both sides. You can't not have Trent Brown on your lines, right? I mean, if you don't, you're out. Trent Brown, Christian Wilkins, Mike Onwenu, just hosses. And then my wide receiver corners, Jalen Waddle and JJ Taylor, just because.
Shorty, okay.
Because, I mean, that's the guy you want in the street. Like, you want that dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be – that's exactly – I mean, he's probably the MVP of this team.
So, as the only one who actually played NFL Street growing up, it was probably the game I put the most time into, I had a philosophy nailed down for how I built my teams. It's very offense-heavy because offense wins. You don't get game-breaker points from playing defense typically. Quarterback, running back, linebacker. The only defensive players I pick, I usually go 1 defensive lineman for the OLEO, and I'll go a cornerback as my cornerback wide receiver, just so I have one person to use or as on defense. That's all you need. Okay, quarterback safety, Mlb Mvps. Little revenge game.
Ooh.
Little triple option.
Yeah.
Little speed. Same vein as Jacoby Myers. Jacoby was probably a better pick, but we'll go Mlb Mvps. Running back, linebacker, Damien Harris. I like the Ramondre Stevenson pick. I think Harris functions a little bit better as a linebacker. Wide receiver corner.
You ain't seen Josh Uche bust through that hole. I'm telling you.
Wide receiver cornerback Jalen Waddle. Wide receiver cornerback number 2 J.C. Jackson, the interception god. And as my camera freezes again, offensive line, defensive line, Trent Brown, Mike Onwenu, Christian Wilkins.
Yeah,
just behemoths that are very athletic.
I like it. Fun segment. Who are we leaving out? Like, who's another dark horse? Like, who's another guy?
I had Devontae Parker in here for a while, and I end up going Jalen Waddle because speed, but size. That's how you get away with the wide receiver playing corner. You just get size and you get him to go for interceptions. Like Randy Moss, interception machine because he was just tall.
Yeah, I realized with my J.J. Taylor pick that I was thinking about using Barry Sanders and NFL Blitz when I made that pick. So I'm sticking with it. I still think it's money.
Mike Vick was the NFL Street cheat code, as he was in Madden in real life.
Yeah.
I had a question, too. I don't really remember playing NFL Street, but was Brian Dawkins just like the best player? I feel like Brian Dawkins would have been up there.
He was very good. He was very good, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, following Ryan's idea of having tall receivers as one of the corners, I was going to pick N'Keal Harry, and then people were going to be mean in the comments about his lateral agility, so I decided against it.
Yeah. For the record, my favorite NFL Street team to pick is Mike Vick. Steve McNair backup if Mike Vick's like a house rule you can't pick him type good in especially the original NFL Street. So if we're going backup, it's Steve McNair. Long live Steve McNair. Rest in peace. Running back, I would try to switch up a lot. I like Priest Holmes though, or Clinton Portis. Wide receivers, you go Randy Moss. And you go Ty Law.
Portis.
Oh, big RIP. I don't think I knew about that.
Did Clinton Portis die?
No, he didn't. Oh, no, okay. I'm sorry. No, he didn't die. He's going to jail for a while.
Oh, I didn't know about that either. Okay.
Sorry, he pled guilty. He pled guilty to some, like a healthcare fraud thing.
So. Oh, I did see that. Okay, all right. Okay.
No, he's
a little white collar fraud. We can look at that.
Sure.
That was today. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like today or yesterday.
Okay. So we'll go Priest Holmes at running back then because you can best ability is availability. Wide receivers, Randy Moss, Ty Law, of course. And then defensive line, I just switch it. I like throwing Matt Light in there a lot, especially like when I'm older and play, because shout out Matt Light.
Just because.
Yeah. Was a cheat code. All right. It's time. Folks,
just real quick.
Third down. Yep.
I'm sorry, before we do it, Robert McCoon, Browns legend, also caught up in the thing, and then 15 other NFL players. That's unbelievable.
It's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to read that.
Federal.
Absolutely insane.
Clinton Portis is in that room right now giving up names. He's giving them dates. He's
just right here. There's nothing
more
more
doing, man. I'd
exhilarating.
be like, all right, here's what I got. All right, who do you want? Who do you want, man?
There's nothing more exhilarating than breaking news to people, especially when they didn't know that something was coming.
But no, he is perfectly alive.
All right. It's time, guys. It's third down. It is the first ever Pick 6 trivia competition. First episode of the Pick 6 trivia competition. Here's how it's going to work. As you might be able to guess from the name, Pick 6, 6 rounds. There's going to be 2 rounds or 2 questions per round. One for Keagan, one for Brian. They're going to have about 30 seconds to guess. I haven't been able to get a timer up on the screen. I'm going to try to work on that, but timer will be off screen. I'll keep track. I'll count you down at around 5. If you don't get it, the opponent can steal. So, plenty of room for swings here. Rounds 1, 3, and 5 are all going to be football related, and those categories will likely never change. First 2 definitely won't change. Round 5 might play with it a little bit. I don't love it. See how it goes as the season goes up. Rounds 2, 4, and 6 will be a rotating cast of like other sports and pop culture and history, anything else. So you're gonna have
this is where I'm going to do my
3 football
damage.
questions. You're gonna have 3 non-football questions. Dark Blue Gold, feel free to guess in chat. So these guys are going by the honor system. They're going to be in our private chat.
Turning off the comments.
So they're not going to see like the answers. They're not going to see your guys' guesses. So feel free to play along. And Takashi Portis. Feel free to play along. Talk shit on these guys. There's going to be back and forth. Again, we're going to keep track of standings every week. We'll tally record and points. We'll have a rotating cast of guys back in. It should be a good time. So let's get into it. So round 1. As I need to pull up the correct banners here. Give me 1 second. This will hopefully get smoother as we go. So round 1. Category is this matchup: New England versus Miami. The history of it. Score is Brian 0. Oh, sorry. We're gonna do a coin flip. So
I was gonna
Brian.
say, okay.
Brian is someone who went second. Call it in the air here. I'm gonna click flip in 3, 2, 1. Call
Heads.
It is heads. Would you like to go first or second?
I would like to go first.
Okay, so we're going to slide him over here. Brian will be up first. So,
because that gives me the advantage.
In New England versus Miami history, here's your question. You'll have 30 seconds. Sorry. This will hopefully get a little smoother as we get into it. Kind of working out the kinks here. Let me pull up a timer. ready to go. I should have had this gone already. Too excited.
All right, let's go, baby. Let's do this.
Right, online timer. Hopefully this doesn't do like an actual alarm. No alarm. 30 seconds. Okay. And your time's going to start as soon as I finish reading the question.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Family Feud style.
You guys ready? Here we
Ready.
go. This 3-time Super Bowl champion defensive back has the most interceptions for New England against Miami since 1990 with 5. Who is he? Time has begun.
Ty Law.
Ty Law, final answer?
Yes.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Keagan, on the steal, you're going to have about like 10 seconds. We'll refine that as we go. We'll see how it plays out. But 10 seconds starting now.
Damn. Devin McCourty?
That is incorrect. Damn. Let me take a second to see if anyone in the chat got it.
Is it Pat Chung?
Is it Malcolm Butler? Oh, defensive back. Damn it.
It is
corners.
No one. Oh, we have a correct answer. Team Crazy Matt. The answer is Deron Harmon.
Ooh.
Deron Harmon with 5 interceptions.
In like 3 years.
Atlanta Falcon, Deron Harmon.
Fun fact, he did it in individual games. He had 1 interception 5 times against the Dolphins, and they were 5-0 in those games. All right, Keagan, your question here. Let me reset the timer. This 3-time Super Bowl champion pass rusher has the most sacks for New England against Miami since 1990 with 10. Who is he? Time has begun.
I got to go Willie McGinnis.
Final answer?
Yeah.
It is 1-0 Keagan. It is Willie McGinnis. And I'll just interject here because I did think that this question was a little bit easier. I'm going to work to try to make them as fair as possible. Obviously, bear with me a little bit here. It's not going to be perfect. So
he had his choice to go first or second.
He sure did.
He could have said safety instead of a defensive back.
A pass rusher, you can, that gives you edge, that gives you linebacker, that gives you interior. It could be anyone who rushes the passer.
I almost overthought it and thought Rob Ninkovich, which I don't think he won.
I
he won 2 Super Bowls.
He did only win 2, but I believe Rob Ninkovich was like second on the list, so wouldn't have been the worst guess. I had a fun fact here as well. His 10 sacks came in 7 games. Patriots were only 3 and 4 in those games. Also, might be 9.5. If you look at this on Pro Football Reference, if you look at the query, it's 10. But then if you look game by game, it adds up to 9.5. Either way,
sacks gets a little dicey.
Yeah,
some of those handwritten box scores.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
So after one round, Keagan is up 1-0. We head to round 2, which are movies.
Oh, jeez.
Reset the timer.
Yeah,
here.
this is where I strike.
Brian, here's your question. Again, your time will start once I finish reading. Which Disney animated sequel is the 10th highest grossing movie of all time internationally per Box Office Mojo? Time's begun.
Oh.
We have a correct answer in the chat. It was very quick. I don't think you cheated. Which Disney animated sequel is the 10th highest grossing movie of all time internationally per Box Office Mojo?
Does
10
computer
seconds.
Toy Story 2?
Final answer?
Yes.
That is incorrect.
Does that count as an animated movie?
Yep, that would count as animated.
Okay.
Pixar,
all right, I'm happy with my guess.
Pixar is separate than Disney, I would assume.
I'm not going to... yes. Yeah, it's separate.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think it was going to be Cars 2.
You have about 5 seconds. 3, 2...
Beauty and the Beast 2? I have no idea.
The answer is Frozen 2.
That's a fake movie.
I'm very happy with my guess. I'm proud of myself.
I think the downfall to your guess is how long ago it was. Trending more recent is better, but Toy Story 2 was a pretty solid guess. All right, so the score remains 1-0 Keagan with the chance to add on here. Let me reset the timer.
All time, huh? Frozen 2.
10th highest grossing movie all time.
Okay, you can't rule out kids' movies. They're just they do numbers.
You bring the kids in, the parents are going, the friends are coming, everybody.
Especially after Frozen was just massive in his thing.
I'm pretty sure at one point Cars 2 was like a top 5 movie of all time.
Behind all the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
Right.
All right, Keagan, round 2, movies. Similarly, which film franchise's 7th installment is the 9th highest grossing movie of all time internationally per Box Office Mojo?
Fast and Furious.
Final answer?
Wait. Yeah. Fast and Furious.
You beat out the chat here. That is correct. It is Fast and the Furious. They fell for the bait, and I guess Star Wars, which has its 7th installment, is like the 4th highest grossing movie of all time, 5th, somewhere along there.
Another questionably easy question there. Hey, no, sure, go. It's fine. You're doing great, Keagan.
If you can't tell by the tone, it is 2-0 Keagan after 2 rounds here.
I'm fine.
You can't beat family.
Everything is fine.
It's all about family, Brian.
All right, that takes us to round 3, which is just Patriots.
Thank God.
Could be history, could be current, could be anything. It's Patriots.
Okay.
Brian, which running back ranks 5th in Patriots history with 34 rushing touchdowns, doing so in 49 games? Time starts now.
Antoine Smith.
Final answer?
Final answer.
That is incorrect.
LeGarrette Blount.
Is it not even close?
It is LeGarrette Blount. This is a runaway. Still time.
All right, the game is now, will Brian get a point before the season starts?
There's still time.
I will argue that was the easiest question of all time.
So I've been trying to go just a little.
How is it that easy? Like
inside the actor studio. Antoine Smith was right there. The answer that I was hoping to trip up was Corey Dillon. Corey Dillon, I think, had 1 more touchdown in like 1 fewer game. So they were very similar. Corey Dillon's obviously older player, but better player.
How many touchdowns did Antoine Smith have?
I can look it up for you real quick. I'm not gonna look it up.
Yeah,
he was in that same range. It wasn't the worst guess. Okay, Keagan, you have there are 7 points left. You're up 3. You can get down to 4 and 6 if you get this right. 4 with 6 to go if you get this right. Which wide receiver ranks 8th in Patriots history with 37 receiving touchdowns, doing so in 37 games?
Randy Moss. Final answer.
Final answer?
Yep.
That is incorrect. Brian, to get on the board, which wide receiver ranks 8th in Patriots history with 37 receiving touchdowns, doing so in 37 games?
37 games?
Oh, damn it. I know it.
How much time do I have?
10 seconds. I'll warn you when you're down to 5. 10 seconds.
Deion Branch. It's wrong. Damn it.
Final answer?
Sure.
That is, in fact, incorrect. It is Wes Welker.
He only played 37 games?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
that can't be right.
Yeah, hang on. I'm sorry. That
07 to 12?
Right now that you're talking. Although he did get hurt. Let me see. Let me stat check that real quick.
5 seasons.
He played more than 37. I don't know what that was. All right, so we have a first hiccup. It happens. As my camera goes out too. Perfect timing. I need
live streaming, man.
Yeah. Now I need to double check this whether I wrote this down wrong or if the thing was wrong. So now we're gonna have some bad radio for a second.
I'm looking up Randy Moss's numbers real quick because I want the point if that's correct.
Antoine Smith had 21 touchdowns for
21.
Yeah, in 45 games. So I wasn't that far off. I'm pleased with the effort I'm putting forth outside of guessing
being wrong every single time.
Well, then I also had 2 NFC teams in the Super Bowl, so it's debatable.
Randy Moss caught 50 touchdowns in 52 games with the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He's the greatest football player in the history of football. I swear to God.
Sure is. I can't find what I was using before. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that I wrote that down wrong, so I apologize.
That is one less point that Keagan could not get.
You know what I think I might have done? I think I might have flipped these numbers. I think Blunt might have had 37 and Welker might have had 49.
Win some, you lose some.
Yep.
This is like me reducing the amount of possessions in a game. This is like I got to try to.
No, Welker played 93. I don't know what the hell was happening here. I did something. Oh, in fact, I know what I did.
You should be ashamed.
Yeah, I should be ashamed. That is my bad. Okay, so first take up. It's week 1. No one's allowed to be mean to me.
What are you going to tell me next? Frozen 2 wasn't the 10th highest grossing all time?
Right. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing's in shambles. Brian's playing under protest for the rest of his life. Okay.
I want my 3rd point, please.
We move on to round 4, sports math. So I'm going to explain this one a little bit. I'm going to give you 3 things. They're each going to have a number attached. You need to determine what the number is, add it up, and give me the correct sum. Okay?
I want my 3rd point.
Oh, I'm up.
You are up. You ready, Brian?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Wait, all right. Well, say that one more time. We're doing what?
Wait, Keagan, you look disheveled here.
My 3rd point. It says Brian 0, Keagan 2. I have 3 points.
Oh, you got LeGarrette Blount, didn't you?
I did.
I'm sorry.
In like a half a second.
I'm flustered now. I'm very flustered.
I had to make sure.
Here we go. 3-0.
Two is I can come back from 2.
This is what you guys get for being on the ground floor of this show, folks. Those of you watching right now, you will all, when we get to the end of the season, this is running perfectly, and we're in the tournament, and Keegan's the 1 seed. You can say Brian robbed. I was there. Brian robbed. Right. I was there.
I'm going to get a cult following.
This is all Pat's fault. I'm with it. You know what? It's Pat's fault. We blame Pat.
Absolutely, Pat.
Everyone tweet at Pat Lane that it's his fault.
Yep. Send your questions to at Pat Lane.
At P Lane _Pats, just so everybody knows.
Yep. I'm going to give you guys a minute for this one because it's a little complicated. Give you at least a couple seconds to even just figure out what you're supposed to do. Okay. Sports math. What is the sum of Kevin Falk's jersey number, Patriots Super Bowl wins, and the single season NFL passing touchdown record? NFL, not Patriots. Time starts now. You have a minute.
Is this just for Brian?
This is just for Brian.
Okay.
You might want to be doing the math.
I get this wrong because of Kevin Falk's jersey number. I'm going to light my computer on fire. 93.
Final answer?
Final answer.
That is incorrect. We have correct answers in the chat, by the way.
Okay. 94.
Final answer?
Yes.
It's 4-0 Keagan. The answer is 94.
Goodness gracious.
Kevin Falk wore 33. The Patriots obviously have 6 touchdowns, and Peyton Manning had 55 touchdown passes.
Okay, no, all right. So here's
wait. Patrick Mahomes had 55 touchdown passes.
Peyton.
No.
Peyton Manning.
Somebody had 55. 55 is a record.
Peyton Manning had 55. Patrick Mahomes and I tied it. Peyton Manning.
The Patriots have 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And then I got it wrong. I got it wrong because I went 34 for Kevin Falk. I would have. Okay.
That's tough. So I believe Keagan might have just won the game. Nope, there are 5 points left. 5 points left, and Keagan is up 4-0. So
wait, hold on. No, I got that wrong because I did math wrong.
Oh no!
I was gonna say you would have had 95.
I would have had 95. I didn't even do the math right. God,
can't believe I got a math question correct.
Keagan, if you get a second math question to correct, you win the first ever Pick 6 trivia competition. Okay. For the win, what is the sum of Stephen Ridley's jersey number, Bills' Super Bowl losses, and the single-season NFL rushing touchdown record? We're about to start the clock, so you're minus like 5 seconds right now.
Okay. I don't know the rushing touchdown record. 52, final answer.
That is incorrect. Brian, you need this to stay alive. If you get this wrong, you can only force overtime.
50.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Keagan is dormy. That is incorrect. The correct answer is 54. Stephen Ridley wore 22. The Bills had 4 Super Bowl losses, and LaDainian Tomlinson had 28 rushing touchdowns.
What's 28? Holy crap. 28. I thought it was 25.
It's 28.
Or 26.
28. Oh,
that's unreal.
2006, I believe.
Yeah.
One of the first seasons that I vividly remember.
Shout out Lorenzo Neal, Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Big shout out.
All right. Brian, at this point, you need every single point just to force overtime.
What
Make sure I get my 4th point.
So category is going to be key here. We're transitioning to around the league.
Okay.
Around the league. So non-Patriots, NFL questions. Brian, sorry, I have to reset the online timer here, actually. Okay, we're back to 30 seconds. Stay alive. The 2 most difficult strength of schedules based on 2020 record for the 2021 season come from which AFC division? The two teams with the hardest schedules this year, based on 2020 record, are in the same AFC division. Which division is that?
The North.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Brian's on the board. He stays alive.
Let's go, baby!
Now
Let's go!
is the AFC North.
Yeah!
The
Complete 100% guess.
The Steelers and then Ravens.
Yes!
And fun. I'm not going to say that now, actually. That would spoil integrity for the next question.
Get it going in the comments, baby. Let's go.
If you guys are Brian stands out here, if you guys aren't sick
baby!
of Brian telling you that you're dumb for hoping that Mac Jones is good on Twitter, give me a GG's for Brian in the chat here.
I would never call you guys dumb. Never.
All right, Keagan. You still win it here. It's 4-1. Keagan, for the win. The two easiest strength of schedules based on 2020 record for the 2021 season come from which NFC division?
The NFC South. Final answer.
That is incorrect. Brian, to continuously stay alive.
I mean,
the East.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Brian stays alive. The last round has meaning.
Yes!
I was way off. I thought it would have been the West.
The fun fact that I would have ruined the integrity of this question is that the NFC North has the 3rd through 5th toughest teams by strength of schedule. And the NFC South has the next two easiest schedules. So you
I
were
just
close.
figured since the NFC East was playing each other all the time.
Yep.
Let's go, baby.
And
let's
fun
go.
fact, the Patriots ranked tied for 19th this season with the Jets and the 49ers. So
don't call it a comeback, baby.
Last
28-3.
Last round. Brian has 2. Keagan has 4. Brian needs both of these. I'll just a little behind the scenes here. We did a test show so I could kind of get this all nailed down, and these guys did help me out with the test show. They did trivia against each other too, same format. They went to overtime.
The exact same thing.
And Keagan won in overtime. So Brian is looking to not only make a miraculous comeback, but make up for the first unofficial, the preseason game, if you will.
I only lost by like a combined, 10,000 people. We did combined, states combined for the highest population in New England.
I'll explain how overtimes will work the first time we get there. But yeah, it was a close one. All right, Brian. Round 6 is miscellaneous, and it's MLB MVPs this week.
Let's go. Yeah. Okay. I haven't followed the MLB in 7 years-ish, so I'm hoping we get a little 90s.
I mean, maybe it'll
we'll see.
Be on your side, maybe it won't. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, Brian, to stay alive for the 3rd consecutive question.
Okay.
The Detroit Tigers had 3 straight MVPs from 2011 to 2013. Miguel Cabrera won the last 2. Who won the first one?
Justin Verlander.
Final answer?
It's not my final answer yet. That's my final answer.
Final answer. Keegan's face said it all. Brian has stayed alive.
Let's go, baby!
The comeback is on, and now the pressure is on Keagan. Now that we're down at the end here, I'm gonna pull that down for a second so we can update the score in real time here. It is Justin Verlander.
That season was absurd.
That season was absolutely absurd. Jacoby Ellsbury should have won it, and then the collapse just completely 2011 collapse just took him out of any possible contention. All right, here's what's going to happen. Keagan, last question. You're going to have 30 seconds. You get it, you win. You don't get it, but Brian also doesn't get it. You win. You don't get it, and Brian gets it. We're going to overtime. It will be a Atlanta Falcons level collapse in the first ever Pick 6 trivia competition. Hearst Empire is throwing a little upset at you here.
Cody, I apologize.
Get it together.
You know what? I've been watching the Secret Base documentary on the Falcons, and it's
so good.
Seeped into my pores.
Shout out Secret Base, by the way. All right, let's get to it. Keagan, once again, for the win. The San Francisco Giants had 5 straight MVPs from 2000 to 2004. Barry Bonds won the last 4, which is absurd. Who won the first one?
Jeff Kent. Final answer.
Oh, no!
Final answer?
Final answer.
Keagan staves off elimination. It is Jeff Kent. Brian
I knew that one
knew
too.
it.
I knew it was going to be
Keagan
Jeff
looked
Kent.
like he did it, and then he just pulled it.
Oh,
you know what?
Pulled it.
I almost said Barry Zito, and I was like, nope, not Barry Zito. Jeff Kent. Another shout out to Secret Base, the beef history between Jeff Kent and Barry Bonds. That's how I know that.
Dude, Jeff Kent is like
the biggest asshole in baseball history.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, second biggest.
And like he looked the same age his whole life. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
like 42.
He was born 42. Oof, man,
Fellas, that was a ton of fun. First ever Pick 6 trivia competition comes down to the last question. Keagan looked like he was going to blow the lead. As the question was being read off, he looked like he had no clue, no shot, and he just pulled it immediately. 2 seconds later, what a turnaround. Brian knew it. Who would have thought Jeff Kent would be the winning answer?
I'm just really, really happy I didn't get blanked.
It was a valiant comeback effort. Brian had Cody sweating over here. Fellas, that was a ton of fun. That was the best, well, almost the best, little hiccup for me there on the Wes Welker question. But you guys handled it like champs. Brian got the score close enough that he could officially throw that question under protest.
Yep.
And
I'll be filing the paperwork, sir.
And we'll get out of here. It's time. We had our 3. It's time to punt. Since this is the first week, I'm going to end with one more question. Give me a no explanations record prediction for the Patriots this year. And first, let's do game predictions for the Dolphins-Patriots.
21-12 Patriots.
27-14 Patriots.
I'll go 17-14 Patriots. And now season record prediction for you guys. Brian.
10-7.
11-6.
I'm going to go 9-8. Right on that 10-7 border.
The argument could be made I deserve a half a point for remembering that there's 17 games this year.
I would, 2 NFC teams playing the Super Bowl, but he knew there were 17 games, folks. That's why you follow at @Phillips_SB on Twitter. Keagan taking home the first ever Pick 6 trivia competition is why you follow him at Keagan Stiefel on Twitter. That's STIEFEL.
That's right.
Keagan is KEAGAN.
Correct.
Great. Did it. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. Don't suggest it. At Ryan_Kieran. Follow Pat's Pulpit at Pat's Pulpit. Shout out Pat Lane. Saw Pat Lane in the chat tonight. Follow Pat Lane at PLane_Pats.
Also, send all your questions and concerns to Pat Lane.
Yes. Yeah. Remember, we're tweeting at Pat. It's your fault. It's all Pat's fault. He knows it. If you guys have any ideas for the show, feel free to tweet at me. Feel free to send the comments here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back next week. I believe we're going to have Pags. We're going to have Pags. That's who's going to be on. We'll have Pags. Pat and Spags will be on, going head-to-head, little, OG Patriots Nation battle here. Keegan's co-hosts.
Right.
So enjoy the football season, guys. We'll be back next week, hopefully better than ever. Some new segments, some new guests. Brian and Keagan, again, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
1-0, baby.
1-0.